Hi guys, I hope I have connection. I've been trying to make this video for about 45 minutes. Well, not really, I'm being dramatic, but probably for a good 15 or 20 minutes over on Periscope. But unfortunately, the tech gods were working against me, as usual on Periscope lately, and I wasn't able to make it. It was all glitchy, it was kicking me off, it was kicking people off. So hopefully that's not happening here. Hopefully we can get this video made because it's a really important topic that I've honestly been trying to make this video for probably 2 months, if not more. Because, hi Lisa, how's my connection? Sorry, I'm gonna cut myself off. Hi Heather, I'm back. How's the connection here? Trying to figure out a different way. This is ridiculous. Yay, okay. So I got a text from one of my beautiful volunteers a couple of months ago. I'm not kidding, a couple of months ago. And she was like, listen, we have a lot of women who are very new into their sentence and they're struggling with issues pertaining to the media and the news and newspaper around his case. And I was like, oh, I made a video, a really good video a while ago. I'll pull it up and I'll send it to her. Unfortunately, I don't know where that video is. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it, so I figured why not remake it? And then life got really hectic, and then Periscope decided that it didn't like me, so here we are making it again. I have notes, so I'm going to use my cheat sheet. But this started for me about, 7 or 8 years ago when Adam moved to McKean. He met this young kid who was, I think, just 18 at the time. And, oh yay, is that Lauren that's on as SPWF? Hi guys. So Adam met this kid who was young. He was, like I'm saying, just 18. This kid beat his case in the state courts. However, advocacy groups came in and they fought it. And so the feds took it over and made this huge deal out of this case that should not have happened, and gave him all of this time. And then he was sent to prison for, I think it was 10 years with this big now scarlet letter on his chest. So they came in and they made this big deal out of it. And now he's got like paperwork on him and he's got groups of people after him. And it was just a mess made out of something that really shouldn't have been. Unfortunately, that happens more often than we'd like to admit. So Adam kind of took this, I want to say child. I mean, he was an adult, but he was just an adult. This happened while he was in high school, and he took him under his wing. So he became close with him. I became closer with his family. I was trying to help. His mom and dad were distraught, especially his mom. I was trying to help her through. And one day, about a year into them being together and doing really well and getting on the right track, and he had him in a good spot. Adam had this kid in a good spot. Well, I get a call from Adam, my husband, and he said that this kid was suddenly put in the hole and moved for his safety. So I had to call his mom and break the news to her, and she sobbed on the phone with me, and I tried to get her through it, and I hung up the phone and I sobbed because I knew it was so unfair, and it was just the way that, unfortunately, many of us know the systems work. So fast forward about a year, he's doing well, he's thriving. Actually, at this point, he's about to get out and he's doing great. But when this story is taking place, fast forward about a year, and the documentary that they made on him came out on Netflix. And against my better judgment, I watched it. And I watched it in horror because they made him out to be a monster. Like I said, this advocacy group came in out of nowhere. They turned this story around. They made his family out to be monsters. Now, I had gotten to know them really well. This was not the family that I knew. This was not the boy that my husband spent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, locked in the same facility with and mentoring. This was not the kid that they made him out to be on this documentary. And right then and there, that was my huge reality check, that when the media comes in, they need a story. They need a villain and they need a hero, and they will do whatever they need to do to villainize the person that they're locking up. They will do whatever they need to do to make our loved ones out to be the scum of the earth And the worst thing ever, they will twist facts. They might make up blatant lies. And so my advice to you guys is, when your husband's case is on the news, when your husband's case is on the media, when your husband's case is, when you turn on the TV and you see his face plastered there, or you're passing the newsstands and you see his face on the front of the newspaper, you guys, look away. There's no reason for you to have to relive this. There's no reason for you to take that open wound and pour salt and then lemon juice and then vinegar on top of that. If you have to, get off of social media for a little while. I'm going to tell you this. I got into some all-out, knock-down, drag-out social media wars around my husband's case, because people will come in and their opinions are already made up, and there is nothing that you can say or do that will change their mind, and they will tear you apart, and they are going to say things that are more hurtful than anything you've heard before in your life. There is no point in wasting your time. There is no point in wasting your precious energy in trying to change the mind of an internet troll. Or anybody that's reading this. I learned, and I'm telling you, I learned this from experience, and I've been through this a lot. I learned that it's better just to stay silent, because they will not fight with silence. They will not be able to continue the conversation if you let it die. But if you fight them, if you fuel their fire, and it's going to be tempting, you guys. Again, I'm telling you this from experience. You're going to want to do everything you can. I've been in front of the computer, you guys, where I've felt rage inside of me. I was shaking because they didn't know anything about me. They didn't know anything about my husband. They knew nothing about the case except for that he has a 213-year sentence. And I've been told things as horrible as he deserves to be tortured and die an awful death. And he deserves every single day of his 213-year sentence, which, side note, is for robbery where nobody was hurt because of mandatory minimum sentencing laws. That I literally felt my hands shaking, my cheeks flush, that heat rise up my spine and up the back of my neck. And I would fight and I would argue. And you know where I got? Nowhere, except for more stressed out. So as much as you're going to want to fight, please, you guys, look away. If that means taking a break from social media, shutting down your accounts, do it. Do it. I am telling you. Whatever makes you keep your sanity is what you need to do right now. Don't read the newspaper. If you have a subscription to a newspaper that's delivered to your house, throw it away. Please, just don't subject yourself to that. Next piece of advice. Okay, so can you possibly use this as an opportunity to move out of town and start fresh? And I'm not telling you that that means that you need to run away from your problems, because you can look at this. This is about perspective, just as anything in prison wife life is about the way that you look at it and your perspective. If things are getting so tough that you feel like you can't walk to the store without fearing for your life, or fearing that somebody is going to hurt you, or just say something that's going to be hurtful, then you should not consider that running away from your problems or not being able to face them. If you seriously consider moving away, maybe you need a fresh start. Maybe you can move closer to where he is. Maybe you deserve that. Maybe you need to look at it as if I'm sorry, I'm trying to read my notes and finish my thought at the same time. How long is your loved one doing? I'll answer comments for 1 second. He's doing 213 years. We'll get to that in a second, or we'll get to that on another Periscope. I did put perspective flips in there, and I just want to make sure I'm checking my notes. Don't look at it as being driven out of town or running from the problem, even if that's how you feel, because that's going to keep you in that depression. That's going to keep you in that funky place. That's going to make you have trouble meeting new friends. It's going to make you withdraw. And again, everything I teach you guys, I've learned from experience or from coaching somebody else through the same experience. I've been doing this. Adam's been gone for almost 18 years at this point. I just 2 months ago joined a new gym and I'm having so much trouble meeting people. I am having so many issues opening up to people, and that happens to me all the time, meeting new people, because in my head, you guys, I'm paranoid that they're going to find out, they're going to ask questions, they're going to want to know more about my personal life. They're going to want to know if I'm single or if I'm dating. And if I'm dating or married, where's my significant other? Not because they're nosy, because it's human nature. That's how you make friends. You ask questions. You want to know about their life. Well, now I'm that weird girl at the gym because I'm living inside of my head. So if you go into it saying I'm being driven out of town, or I'm running out of town, or I'm running away from my problems, then you're going to go into it and you're going to have a really hard time settling and getting to know people. But if you tell yourself, this is what I'm doing to give myself a fresh start because it's what I deserve, then you're going to go into it in a place of power. You're going to go into this with the control, not from a place of fear, not as a victim. So just remember, it's how you look at things. Okay, really quick lesson because I'm a computer nerd. This is number 3. When you go online and you Google your husband's or your loved one's name, first of all, I think that's a really bad idea because that in itself can get you into trouble and can lead you down a deep, dark path. Probably like 7 years ago, so we're already like 10 years plus into Adam's sentence. On New Year's Eve one time, why? I have no idea. I decided to Google Adam's name. Actually, I do know why. It's because because of my tip. I'm trying so hard to get positive stuff online above all of the negative articles that still exist almost 2 decades later on Google when I Google his name. It's just the internet marketing nerd inside of me that I need to do this. And I'm going to give you advice on how in a second. But I Googled his name and all of a sudden, all of this stuff comes up and I had literally a mental breakdown right there. I just, for some reason, couldn't handle it. I had just found out my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer on Christmas Day. I was having a very hard time dealing with that. So I don't know if I was just looking for an excuse to break down and maybe that's why I Googled his name. I don't know, but it led me to a horrible breakdown where I called my brother. I was supposed to be going to his house for a party that night and I was like, I am not coming. I can't do this. I just can't deal. I'm going to bed. And he was like, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Then my best friend was calling me. She was having a party. I'm like, I'm not doing anything tonight. And they were all really worried about me. Point is, you guys, don't Google his name if you're just trying to pour salt in your own wounds. If it's going to lead you down a deep, dark path, just like I told you to get off social media, you don't need to Google his name. You don't need to reread the articles about his case that are spinning it in a different way. It's the same article, just written by somebody else with different words maybe, all the same skewed facts, all the same lies sometimes, all the same horrific things that they're trying to make your husband out to be. Mine was the ringleader. Mine was blamed for everything that 6 people all had an equal part in doing. He was the one that was the villain and the horrible one. So the point is, it's never the truth because they don't know the truth. And even if it's glimmers of the truth, nobody knows his personality except for you. Even if he is completely guilty, because as much as a lot of us, not me, but a lot of our members claim innocence, majority of us, including myself, there's a lot of guilt involved, right? Even if it's not everything that he got charged for, he was doing something wrong, right? Most of us are not in this position because they were an altar boy or they were a Boy Scout. Most of us are in this position because he did something wrong. I would say 99.999999999% of us. There's a small few that are innocent, and there is a larger amount, percentage-wise, that maybe they got charged for something different than they actually did, but there's still guilt, right? So the whole point in saying that is You know the facts of his case. You know him. You know yourself. You don't need to rely on news articles to make you feel better or worse about yourself because you're already feeling bad enough. You're both already dealing with so much guilt, with so much shame. You already feel terrible. Don't do it. However, internet marketing nerd in me coming out. So just hear me out for a second. There are ways to combat those negative articles. Now, if you have a case where he's only doing a short amount of time, and I'm not trying to discredit's the wrong word. I'm not trying to not be sensitive or compassionate because any time is a lot of time to somebody who's doing time on the outside, right? So even if he's got 3 weeks, it's kind of hard. But I'm saying this to make a point. If he has less than 5 years, you probably don't want to take this advice because it's going to take a while to do this. So you want to combat those negative articles with positive things. So you could start a blog for him. You could start a website for him. You could try to get positive stuff out there. The reason I'm saying if he has less than 5 years, it's not going to work is because in internet marketing, news sources that have been around for a really long time and that have constantly being like daily, they have tons of articles being published. Plus they've been around for a long time. Plus they have credibility. Google is always going to rank them at the top. They'll always outrank you. So there's no point or very little point if he has like 5 years or less and there's tons of articles out there on CNN and MSNBC, all of your local news search engines, all of your local news sites, then you're probably not going to want to do this because it's not going to work. But I'm telling you, Adam has, like I said, been down for 18 years and I'm still fighting to get him above all of like the .gov sites and the CNN type of sites and even like the Philly local news sites. But I'm fighting. The point is you want to combat, if you want to try, you want to try to combat those local and national and .gov sites with the negative articles with some positive stuff. Whether that be a website, whether that be a blog, whether that be with you blogging on Strong Prison Wives, whatever that is, you can do that just so, one, you could try to outrank them, which majority of the time is not going to happen. It still hasn't happened for me. But number two, but I could say this, after I got online with Adam's stuff, probably now close to 10 years, and there's like 2 or 3 Google results that are his case or about his case, and then the rest is positive stuff that I've built for him. It's a lot of work and it takes time, but we're getting there. I will probably, you guys, never beat out those other news sources, but at least I've got something positive there. If somebody that can help him with his case Googles his name, right? So this is maybe more for you guys with 10 years or less, or for you guys that aren't trying to fight like in my position, or other lifers or people with really long unfair sentences. We're trying to fight, right, every single day to get eyes on our case, to put positive stuff out there, to get the attention of a congressperson or somebody that can help turn our case around, that can help give us a deal, that can help give us our second chance. So this is really more for that woman versus just somebody who Googles his name and wants to see pour salt in her wounds. Just don't do it. So if you have a longer sentence, we could talk more about this another time. I'm already talking in circles. But just know the whole point in that is when you sit down at the computer and you're tempted to Google his name, stop yourself and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because majority of the time it's because you're depressed and you're trying to you're snowballing into that. So stop yourself and ask yourself, what can I do right now that's positive? What can I do right now that'll benefit our future versus living in the past, versus pouring salt in the wounds, versus keeping yourself in that depression? What can I do right now instead that can guarantee that we'll both have a better day, that tomorrow will be better for both of us, that 5 years will be better for both of us, and do that instead. That is going to help you so much more than sitting there and living in the victim mode, living as just living in the past. Last thing before I go, let's talk about the kids. Let's talk about if the kids are at risk for being bullied, or if they're already emotionally damaged by this. So I'm going back to moving out of town, right? One of your excuses might be, well, the kids are in school. And that's totally an understandable reason for not wanting to leave. But if your kids are at risk for being bullied or more emotionally damaged than they already are because they're going through this, then who cares why you're moving out of town? If you can leave, go. If you can't leave, totally understandable. So why don't you do this? Talk to their teachers. Set up meetings with the administrators. Explain what's going on. Because at the end of the day, none of this is the child's fault. And we all need to remember that. So how can you work together with the teachers and the school administrators so your children don't have to go through that, so they don't have to suffer any more than they're already suffering going through this? That's what you need to do. That's who you need to protect. Along with yourself, or more than yourself, I should say, you need to protect your kids. Because I was doing a video with a really good friend of mine named Justin, who runs whitecollaradvice.com. Go check out his Facebook page and check out his website. It's really cool. He actually has a video with me where I give the top 10 tips for surviving prison wife life. We do an interview. But in that interview, he said this, which was so profound. He was like, everybody nowadays in school has one of these. My nieces are 8 and 10, and they've both had one of these for a couple of years. And that's awesome because it helps keep them safe, right? Because if they're walking home from school, I want them to be connected to me. Or their parents want them to be connected to them, and you want them to be connected to you. But as much as they're connected to call you if something bad happens, they're also connected to, or I should say, other kids in school are connected and can download that news article really quick, can go on Facebook and see that their daddy got arrested for X, Y, and Z. So we need, and Justin was one that said that, and I was like, you're absolutely right. So we need to protect them from that. We need to, one, talk to them about the case, talk to them about how to handle when things come up in school, talk to them about how to handle the media and the news articles that are coming around, because we can only protect them from so much, but you also have to talk through it with them and get them to a place where they're feeling good and feeling comfortable. And then, like I said, you need to talk to their teachers. You need to talk to the administrators. You guys, I don't have kids, so, and I'm very, as much as I would love to have kids, it's one of my biggest desires in life right now. I'm so grateful that I don't, because of Adam's sentence, because of what we've been going through for so long. I wouldn't want to have to put kids through this. I'm saying that to say I don't have firsthand experience with this except for what I've coached thousands, hundreds of thousands at this point. Well, maybe that's kind of egotistical. Thousands of women through with their kids. So if you have been through this and you have experience with this, comment below and let's all help each other figure this out. Let's all give each other the advice. What worked for you? What worked when kids were bullying your child at school? What worked when you went to go speak to the teachers? When you went to go speak to the administrators? What worked for you? Comment under this video so we could all help learn from each other, because that's exactly what Strong Prison Wives and Families is here for, is to support one another through, to share resources and information and ideas and thoughts so we can all make this easier for each other and ourselves. Thank you, Eve. Yes, please, let's be a team. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not answering your comments because I'm not used to Facebook Live and I'm on my iPad, so it's hard for me to see them as I'm talking, and I'm trying to follow my notes. I wrote these out like I'm saying. Thank you for all that love. I wrote these out a couple of weeks ago when I first decided to make this video, but life has been insanely hectic. I'm teaching a class, I'm doing some consulting work, and I'm working, and I'm back in the gym, so it's just been a little rough for me to find the extra hours to do Periscope and Facebook, and now Facebook Live, because Periscope wasn't working, videos. So I just want to make sure I'm reading them all, but keep your comments coming. Let's see. Oh, here's a pro tip from my friends who are academics, who are teachers, and who have worked in specifically elementary school. This came from, but yeah, this one person gave me it. She said you can gently talk to the school, to the teachers, and to the administrators and explain what's going on. If that doesn't work, you can nicely but firmly explain to them that you will be left with no other choice than to use the word bully. If you get that on the record, and wait, let me just say, you're not threatening them. You're kindly and gently and nicely saying that you're fearing that your child is being bullied. And if that is on the record, they will have to do everything that they can. That should really be enough to get them moving and to get that ball rolling and really to get them moving fast. Because if they don't follow through with that, you can complain up the line and up the chain of command until your son or daughter, or his son or daughter, until that child is protected. Because bully is kind of that trigger word, I guess, for lack of a better word right now, where they can't have that on their books and not do something about it, because if something happens to that child, it will come back on them. Is this foolproof and fail-safe? No. Things happen. One of my very dear friends, her 16-year-old cousin just committed suicide last year because of being bullied at school, and that's one of hundreds of thousands of cases that happened throughout the year. That's just one that I was made aware of last year. So it happens. Things slip through the cracks, but try to get yourself on record. Do as much as you can right now to protect yourself, to protect your children, and to get through this as easily and painlessly as possible. I'm an elementary school teacher and also a prison wife. I'd be willing to do my best to give advice to anyone who needs my help. Kaylee Clements Kiglore, I don't know how to say your names, Kiglore. Thank you for that comment. And anybody that's struggling with this, please contact Kaylee. And because, like I said, I'm not a teacher and I'm not a parent, so I don't have nearly as much experience with this as somebody else who is in academia or who does have kids. So contact each other, help each other. But the moral of this whole entire story is do the best that you can to look away from the news, from Facebook and Twitter and every place on social media that has stories about your loved one coming out, from newspapers. Just do a social media detox and a cleanse and get yourself off of there for a little while. That's why, you guys, we developed strongprisonwives.com and we have the SPWF app, because that is social media away from social media. That is only exclusive to prison wives and family members who understand what you're going through, who can help you through this. We don't put news sources out there. We don't put articles about people's loved ones out there, because that's not what we're there for. We're there to support loved ones on the outside while they're going through these emotions. So lean on us for that. Lean on your support sisters here. Stay off of Facebook. Shut off the TV. Don't get the newspaper. Speak to your kids, teachers, and the administrators at their school. And if you have to, and if you want to, look into moving out, look into moving and starting fresh someplace, but don't look at it as running away. Don't look at it as being driven out of the town. Look at it as giving yourself a fresh new start. Look at it as a brand new adventure and a new place to settle down and begin life, the next chapter of life, right? Because waiting for this, all of the crap that happened before this, and even waiting to be sentenced and all of that is your old life. So you could look at it as your new life if you have to move out of town. And even if you're staying right where you are because you can't go, that's cool. Draw a line in the sand. All of that stuff is behind me. I'm not going to torture myself by Googling his name. I'm not going to torture myself by reading all of the articles that are about him. I found, you guys, one time, 4 pages. Actually, no, that's a lie. I found, I think, 12 pages on a prison forum, like a prison family member forum. This is years ago, about my husband. 12 pages. I stopped reading at page 4 because they were saying, it was about my husband. I don't know who found him. I don't know who Googled his name. I don't know why they did it. But it was about my husband and saying that his case was fake, saying that I made the whole thing up, saying that I was asking for their money because I had a little donation thing on his page. But this was back before we filed for clemency. Years before it, when we were thinking about filing, before even President Obama came into office, I think the second time. And I made a total of $30 off of there. 10 were from me, 20 were from Adam's mom. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with trying to hire a lawyer back then. Point is, people are going to say all kinds of crazy, made up BS, lies, or twisted truths about you, about your husband, and it's rude, it's uncalled for, but it's going to happen, so just don't look. I am babbling and spinning in circles, so I think we're going to leave it at that. If anybody has comments, or if you posted something and I missed it, I'll hang out for a couple minutes and I'll answer your questions, or I'll read your comments and we could talk through them, and then I'm going to go. I'm so happy this worked, you guys, because I could not get this to work on Periscope for the longest time, but I think this is a good one to keep up because it stays on Facebook. And I know that a lot of you guys were struggling with this because, like I said, one of my beautiful volunteers texted me about this a couple of months ago, and I was like, I have a video on that. I'm going to find it. It took me forever to try to look. I looked, I couldn't find where it was, and I was like, I'll just make a new one. And then it took me forever to try to find time to make a new one. I don't know if that's pathetic or amazing, but it is what it is. So, everybody send positive thoughts and good vibes to our dear sister, Be Hopeful, Heather, who is down in Dallas this weekend at the International Prisoner Family Conference, who will be presenting a workshop, and she is there representing prison wives and family members, and I couldn't think of a better person to represent us. So good luck. Lots of love to Heather. Positive vibes from Eve. Thank you, doll. Eve said, it's a connection, women who don't judge. The group helps me feel like I'm okay, not crazy. You all get it. My lifeline. She's talking about strongprisonwives.com and the SPWF app. For you guys that haven't downloaded the app, just an FYI, it's free. It's available on Android and iPhone. It's free, like I said. There are 2 Prison Wife apps out there. They are both powered by our amazing friends and partners at Pigeonly. Our app for SPWF literally has the letters SPWF on it, and it is a bright pink background. Let's see if I can find it. With the letters are white and black stripes. And here, that's what it looks like. Can you see that? Take a screenshot of that if you need that. And I'm telling you that because the other app is Pigeonly's app, and it's blue. So when you go to your store, either iTunes or if you go to Google Play and you search Prison Wives, 2 apps are going to come up. We are the pink one. I've got to go. I'm going to get kicked off of here. Something's going on with my storage settings. So you guys have a great night. Keep staying strong. Keep loving strong. Keep supporting one another through this journey. Oh, wait, let's read this. This has always been a place for women to feel safe, and I love that. There is a group that fights for felons and prisoner rights. Al, try, just type in prison advocates into Google and see what comes up. I'm sure there are plenty out there. I mean, there are tons out there, I know for a fact. I just don't know what state you're in. I don't know those details around your case specifically and what you need help with. So start there and see. So you could do prison advocates and then put in your state. So me, I put prison advocates in New Jersey, but I'm federal. So like prison advocates for a federal case, etc. I just downloaded the app, very new to this world, and appreciate all the advice and encouragement. Elizabeth, we've got you, sweetheart. Heather says, I watch you and Adam at Visit, and the love is so real. You're such an inspiration. Heather, oh my God, you go to Visit at McKean? We have to plan a visit so I can meet you and give you a hug. I can't see your picture. Have we spoken before? Holy crap. I did meet somebody walking out of Visit one time, and she was like, oh my God, I found you on YouTube, and now you're here in person. This is amazing. And it was so sweet. Thank you, sweetheart. That's so sweet. Your words just totally touched my heart. And I'm going to tell him tonight, and he is going to blush, and I'm going to be able to hear it through the phone, but he's going to love it. We've met. Okay, good. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't remember you. I literally just can't see your picture. I'm going blind. Not really. But I need glasses, and I refuse to get them because I've always had 20/20 vision my whole entire life. But, you know, I've been working on computers for many years and phones, and age 21 was a couple years ago. So I really need to go get glasses, but I refuse to accept the fact that I don't have 20/20 vision anymore, even though I'm like this all the time. So I can't see your picture. You're going to be there this weekend? Oh, I'm so jealous. I don't know if I can go in May because Adam's mom's going one weekend and he might have a friend coming who's kind of like a legal visit. So they might take my second visit in May, and you're only allowed 2 weekends a month between April, I think it's like April 17th and whatever it is, October like 15th or something like that. So, I don't know. But next time we're there, next time I plan on going, I'll let you know. Or let me know next time you plan on going. Do you go all the time? I wish I could see your picture right now. All right. You guys keep staying strong. Keep loving strong. Hi, Nikki, sweetheart. We're all here for you. I will be back. I'll do more videos on Facebook Live, you guys, because Periscope's just been giving me the runaround lately, and I don't understand what the issues are. And it seems like more people hop onto these videos anyway. So I might have taken the plunge and moved over permanently. We'll see. Keep staying strong. Keep loving strong. Keep supporting one another through this journey because you're one day closer to it all being over. But until then, look away from the media. Shut down social media if you need to. Do not look at the newspaper, and take it up with your children's school teachers if you need to. And lastly, if you have to move and it's something you're contemplating, deeply consider it and weigh all of your options. And it might not be a negative thing. And I almost forgot, if you want to start blogging positive stuff for him or to move, positive stuff up in the rankings, then do that too. And there's a great resource on strongprisonwives.com/blogs where you could do that and you don't have to set anything up. Love you guys. Have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Now I just have to figure out how to shut this off.